Ruh-roh. No sound. Oh, no, there is sound. Cool. Why is the light not coming on? That's weird. Is there sound? Sound check. Oh, I wonder it's because this thing is not plugged in. There we go. It came undone. 1 second. Let me hook that back up if I can. There we go. That little light is helpful for letting you know when it's come undone. It used to come undone all the time. Oh, there it goes again. And then I thought I fixed it, but now I'm having trouble. I'll fiddle with it more later, but let me just get it fixed for this here live. Happy Thanksgiving. And I miss you guys. I've been wanting to come on for days. I had all kinds of crisis with my dumb braces. I had grandbaby in town, so that was fun. Grandbaby learned how to crawl yesterday. Fearless Fred! No way! How are you, man? How's your leg? How's your recovery? That was on Monday, right? So you've had 3 days to recover. Sound is good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I only just put up the announcement that I was coming on like 5 or 10 minutes ago. And I didn't want to text anybody that I was coming on because I'm like, it's a holiday. If people are here, then cool. So thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I'm really curious how your procedure went, if you feel like sharing. If you don't, then just ignore it or say, no habla inglés, right? So let me do my normal run through and get down with the information. Please hit your like button if you don't mind. Unless, of course, like. How can you not like the lovely chakra tower? And make sure that you're still subscribed. That's not very easy to see, is it? Maybe if I put the light with it, will that help? Oh, no, that makes it worse. Let me just shut that down. Anyway, turn on your notification bell to ring. Here, I've got my other one. Where did it go? There we go. Subscribe. Share a video of mine with somebody that you think might like my channel and turn on your notification bell to ring. So there's all of that. What else? Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something. All my videos are made for the tube of you. It's an infotainment platform. I have my tiny, tiny notebook today. Is this so cute? It's like to carry around in my pocket with me when I'm like walking around and not wanting to have my purse, because I usually have my smaller notebook in my purse. Although not always. Sometimes it's MIA. So let me read all of your comments here. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, ¿y tú? That was the first part was you. Second part was my answer. Okay. Sound okay. OMG, almost on time. LOL. So that is cute and hilarious. And I never pushed back the time once. Is that so amazing? So yeah, I know it was a minute or two late, but I didn't reschedule it like I so often do, which drives me nuts. And I'm sorry if it drives other people nuts too. Leg is fine. Very, very cool. That's great. That's great news. So Fred, what do you think about the crazy situation in Washington, D.C. yesterday where the 29-year-old Afghani national, he's an Afghan national gunman, shot the two National Guards? Did you know that those two National Guards had only been sworn in for less than 24 hours each? There's a lot of weird stuff with this. And I don't like to always be jumping the gun like, oh, it's another freaking street theater. It's another false flag. But it just seems like a lot of people get shot at when there's a certain somebody in office. Fortunately, as far as I know, these two are not deceased. Like, there's been a lot of mixed reports, some that have said that they are deceased and others that say that they're not. As far as I know, they're both in critical condition and recovering, but again, I'm not sure. And prayers for them. A 20-year-old female and a 24-year-old male, both from West Virginia. So they were both sworn in within less than 24 hours of when they got ambushed. But the guy, the 29-year-old, allegedly is a father of 5, allegedly drove cross country from where he has been living with his wife and 5 kids in Bellingham, Washington, which is like a couple hours north of Seattle, right by the Canadian border. Beautiful town. Absolutely beautiful town. A college town. It's where Western Washington University is. And yeah, it's a very long drive to take, especially on a holiday. The whole story is just fishy AF. And then, it seems to me, in my humble conspiracy theory opinion, allegedly, that the people on the right jump the gun and really quickly say, oh, it's a lunatic radical leftist that did this. Or in this case, they're trying to say it's a lunatic radical leftist, Joe Biden, who allowed him sanctuary to come into our country back in 2021 when the war was ended. And yeah, that war ending situation was a shit show, to say the least. That did not make sense to me. And I guess lots and lots of people came from Afghanistan to receive sanctuary in our country. But the man was, what was he, in April of this year? He was given asylum by who was president in April of 2025. DC, not CC. Did I say CC? Oh, no, I'm like, maybe it sounded like it because of my wax on my teeth. OMG, my braces have been so bad. So bad. I think the last video that I did was after my emergency. Yeah, I think it was late Saturday night after my emergency appointment on Saturday evening, which was already kind of late. It was like 8 o'clock when I met with them and they fixed me up. And then I think I came on at like 10. And then I needed to have some fine tuning ever since then. So I'd been in severe pain basically ever since Saturday. And now it's Thursday. So then I finally got in yesterday or the day before yesterday, and they fixed some of them up, but not really. This thing sucks. I can't believe I have to live like this. But they did say that in a couple of weeks, I get to graduate up to the next wire thickness that is thicker, and so it should be better. So fingers crossed. This is like barbaric torture. So that was one reason why I haven't been doing videos the last few days, is because I can barely freaking speak. It's exhausting having all this pain. And so I put the wax on and I just try to chill out and do my stuff. And then when I'm hungry, I take the wax off and then I eat some food and then I put the wax back on after cleaning my teeth thoroughly. It's a lot of work. I know that's way too much information. Sorry. Especially if you're trying to enjoy a good Thanksgiving meal. You don't want to hear about my braces and the wax. But I'm getting ready to enjoy a really good Thanksgiving meal. So I'm just going to be on shortly. And I think we should send DT some Chicago cops to help with the CC crime, LOL. Yeah, the whole thing with Chicago is crazy too. And he's already this morning been attacking your governor. Is he governor of Illinois, or is he he's the governor of Illinois, the Pritzker guy. And yeah, Pritzker's a big guy. He's definitely overweight. He'll be the first to tell you that, but you don't need to be like mocking him for it on Thanksgiving, right? Especially when you're a big pig yourself. So I just think that DT is so jealous of Pritzker, because Pritzker too grew up a billionaire, and he's a good person who has a life and meaning and cares about stuff, apparently, which has caused his whole billionaire family, I think, to disown him, because, you know, he gives too much of a crap about the rest of the world. He's not just like the classic, I got mine, later, good luck pulling yourself up by your bootstraps with that trickle down theory, right? So I'll read your comment again. I think we should send DT some Chicago cops to help with the DC crime, LOL, since you had your little fix there, your little correction. But yeah, it doesn't seem like the DC crime is too bad, which I'm sure is why you're saying LOL. But as soon as they have this like false flag street theater thing happen, within minutes, they're ready to send in 500 more of the National Guardsmen. And how effed up is that when these National Guardsmen get taken away from their families, like right at Thanksgiving? Serious? So horrific. And then if they're getting injured in a false flag street theater operation, that's called terrorism. So quickly they're trying to jump the gun and say, oh, you know, this Afghanistan guy from Bellingham, this is a terrorist act. It's like, well, why don't you slow down, cool your jets for a minute, figure out what happened, because you don't know that it's a terrorist act. But if you're staging this as street theater to try to establish or justify having more of the National Guard, then that's definitely absolutely terrorism, right? Absolutely terrorism. Oh, so enough about all that crap. I mean, it's so sad, and pray for these folks that are wounded. So let's talk about some gratitude, Fred. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful that you're here. I'm grateful that you got your leg worked on. Now you've got them both fixed up. It's totally awesome. I'm very grateful to have my YouTube channel and my viewers. Every single one of you is extremely important to me. So I want you to know that. As my channel has gotten smaller, I'm okay with that. You know, it's like, I just like having my channel. I'm very grateful for each and every viewer. And I don't know, I try to make rhyme and reason of it. I think sometimes it's because of the material that I talk about. You know, I came on to this scene talking about Kylie Rodney and was heavily shadow banned from Jump. I think talking about the Trumpster fire, I think that made me even more shadow banned, in my opinion. Especially when I put his name in the title. If I don't say Trumpster fire or something like that, if I put his actual name in the title, it doesn't get any views, like single digit views, until I go, oh, right, I'm not supposed to put his name in the title. And then I change it, and then it gets the regular, you know, like 50 or a couple of hundred views. So it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So yeah, I'm very grateful for my health. I gotta say, I'm very grateful to have braces, even though they hurt and they're horrible. And I wouldn't really recommend them for anybody. If you have to have them, if you can get the Invisalign, I'd say go that direction. But if you need braces, then you need braces. So, you know, like for me, it was a health issue, and it was creating a misalignment of my cranium. So I'm pretty sure, my doctor and I are pretty sure that that was what was contributing to the vertigo that I haven't had any of since I had the braces put on. So, you know, I've got these prescriptions for Zofran, which is a magical medication if you're nauseous. And I maybe took one ever since I've had my braces. Like for a while, felt like I was living on them. Like I had to take them basically every few hours, morning, noon, and night, so that I didn't feel nauseous. And not just feel nauseous, but actually throw up, because when you have vertigo, you have vertigo. But anyway, so I'm very grateful to not be dealing with that vertigo. I'm very grateful to have the ability to have braces, because it's not cheap. It's extremely expensive, extraordinarily expensive. And I feel like I have a very good orthodontist, despite the fact that things aren't going so well with the braces. I think it's just me. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just a high maintenance, difficult patient, because I don't expect to have to live with a mouth full of razor blades, because that's what it feels like. That's really what it feels like. The wax helps a lot, but it doesn't make it go away. And then it makes it harder to talk. It doesn't make all the pain go away. It makes it a lot better, but then it's really hard to talk, and you can't eat, period, when you have wax in your teeth. I mean, you could, but you wouldn't want to, because that's gross. Anyway, what else am I grateful for? Where's Coco? Coco, come here, baby. Honey. Coco. She's on the other side of the room. I thought I'd see her in her bed. I've got the empty dog bed syndrome. So I'm very grateful for my family and for my fur babies and my little baby. Did I already tell you that he's going to be 8 months old on Sunday, the day after tomorrow? On news just now, guardsmen still critical. Thank you for the update, Fred. Well, that's good news. I was so afraid you were going to say the opposite direction of that. Here, it's not allowing me, there we go, to replace pinned message. That's great news. That is seriously something to be grateful for. I mean, if all of these things like Charlie Kirk and the what I think was a totally bogus assassination attempt in Butler, if these things are false flags in street theater, not only you got to wonder, are there people really getting injured and in some cases unalived, but also it's the terrorizing of the entire country, let alone the world, because, you know, us Americans are not the only ones that are freaked out about this guy in the leadership position. A lot of countries worldwide are extraordinarily stressed out about it, because he affects all of them with his moodiness and his cantankerous, I tariff you, I double the tariffs, I triple the tariffs. I mean, he's just like the most unstable non-genius you can imagine. Like, who else would call themselves a stable genius? It's like, it's laughable. I mean, he's like a freaking cartoon character. But anyway, let's talk about Carolyn Leavitt and her false flag operation, because her brother's baby mama, I think that they were married, but I'm not sure. I actually thought they hadn't been married. They had a baby together who's an 11-year-old boy, I think, and they had shared custody of him. And she's from Brazil, and she's recently been arrested and put into a freaking ICE detention facility, which I don't know if a lot of people watching the video, or you, Fred, have ever been in an ICE detention facility. And I'm not talking about the gulag down in El Salvador. I'm talking about any of them nationwide. Like, they are hellholes. They're absolute hellholes. I've been in a few to do the psychiatric, the crisis and commitment evaluations that I used to do out in Washington State. So pretty much everybody in a nice facility could require an evaluation for danger to self and others due to a psychiatric disorder, simply from the stress and freaking out and wanting to end it, because it's insane. It's so bad. Like, they're so much worse than prisons, because prisons are for Americans. You know, we treat our Americans worlds better than we treat illegal aliens, or I don't like to say illegal aliens, undocumented non-citizens. How about that? I think it's terrible calling them illegals. I think it's terrible calling them aliens. It's like, they're not from another planet, but, you know, Seems like some of these people in the positions of power might be from other planets. I mean, do they not seem like the lizard people that they try to tell you the Democrats are, Fred? I mean, seriously, every accusation is a confession, in my humble conspiracy theory opinion, allegedly. So Carolyn Levitt, I believe, this is my opinion, I believe that she had her nephew's mother arrested to do a solid for her brother because they were having issues or having custody issues. Like, I could be wrong. It could just be that ICE caught up with her, but it just seems extremely suspicious to me. Extremely suspicious. Because the 11-year-old's mother and Caroline's brother have had a very contentious relationship, I think, ever since he was born. And like I said, I don't think they've been married, but maybe they were way back. They cleaned the Broadview one for the congressman to tour a couple of days ago, and she said it was still a hellhole. Oh, the one, is that in Chicago, Fred? Yeah, they are absolute hellholes. I was really shocked because, I'd done the evaluations in prisons and juvenile detentions, and they're no fun. I mean, they're hideous places. Absolutely. They're pretty terrorizing, just even when you're getting the red carpet rolled out for you as the professional that they're so happy to see, and you're getting, the gold star treatment. They are really creepy places, sort of like Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs. I mean, it's creepy. Prisons are creepy. Juvenile detentions are creepy. So when I had my first call to an ICE detention in downtown Seattle, an ICE detention facility, it looks fine from the outside. It was near the Kingdom, back in the days before they blew up the Kingdom to put in the Seahawks Stadium. You would drive by without even noticing the little sign in front that said ICE. I mean, I'd been by it a million times. I had no idea until I had to go there for an evaluation. And I'm like, oh, I've been into prisons. Yeah, they're bad. Okay, I got this. Oh, because on that call, usually we traveled in pairs. We traveled in teams. And there was nobody available to go. So they were like, well, you can just wait until there's somebody available to go with you. And I was like, no, that's all right. When you're in like a controlled environment like that, like a hospital setting or a jail setting, you've got all that staff there to keep everything under control. So I was like, no big deal. I'll just go take care of it because it was going to be a while before someone was available. And people in the office were just kind of laughing at me without cluing me in because they knew I was just naive. You know how nice people in the office are, right? So they're like, yeah, have fun with that, cutie. Because I was like the youngest one in there. I think I was like 31 at the time. I was the youngest employee there. And I had transferred from a different county where I did the crisis and commitment evaluations to like the hardcore in downtown Seattle for King County. And so anyway, so I go into the ICE detention facility, and even the people there, when I got there, they were kind of surprised that I showed up alone. They were like, wait, what? Being a female and being alone. And this was an ICE detention facility for males. So, I was like, so what's the problem? And once I got down to doing the job that I was there to do, I realized the problem. And yeah, it was bad. I don't think I need to go into any more gritty detail. Like I said, think Jodie Foster, Silence of the Lambs, except that instead of having like one or two people in a cage, because Silence of the Lambs, it was just one per cage because they were like the highest tier of crazy and violent and dangerous. In that specific ICE detention facility, I want to say they had about 40 per cage. And I say cage because it was like chain linked fences, floor to ceiling inside. Indoors, chain link fences. I'd never seen anything like it. And like I said, pretty much everybody in there is self-injurious, and they get self-unalivings all the time. It's just that if they really think somebody is going to do it and they don't make the call to make the referral, they can be held liable. They usually don't make the call. So usually they're just like, yeah, whatever. That's just part of the grist for the mill. So anyway, a little memory lane. Sorry about that. Yeah, Caroline Levitt and her sister-in-law or ex-sister-in-law or whatever. There was no message from Caroline Levitt saying, oh, this is really sad for my nephew to be dealing with this with his mom. They tried to portray the mother as being violent and crazy, which, she probably got into a fight with Caroline's husband, and whether or not she did something violent, he probably used it as leverage against her. And so now she'll probably be deported. So they tried to pretend like the kid didn't really see the mother much, that he'd always been in the custody of his father, but it seems like they actually had split custody. So, a lot of lies and a lack of empathy, a lack of statement from Caroline Levitt. To me, that's evidence that she's behind this. So anyway, let's go on with more gratitude. What are you grateful for, Fred? Excuse me. Let me get some water. I'm very grateful for my studio. It's fun. It's a lot of work and it's silly. I know, but I love it. When Dexter wants to play or go out, he stands on the recliner footrest to collapse it or uses his nose to push my laptop off my lap. Smarty pants too. That's adorable. And I just got to say how adorable it is that your dog is named Dexter. I always want to think, maybe it's because of Dieter from the Watts case. When you say Dexter, I always picture a wiener dog. And I know that your dog is like a pit, right? I don't know if Dexter's full pit or part pit. But yeah, I always picture a wiener dog. Like my Mookie, who's only a quarter wiener dog, but she thinks she's all wiener dog. She's hilarious. But yeah, our pets, and especially Coco with her recovery from cancer. Come here, Coco. Come here, baby. Come on. Come on. Come here. Come on. Come here, honey pot. Sit on your bed. So you can see the spot. I don't know if you can see that spot on her rear end. It's right here where it was shaved for the, she had it shaved for the 2 surgeries. And then she had, when she had the radiation therapy last year, she had a severe reaction to it. And I told you guys, if you remember, she had like baboon butt. It was seriously bad. So I don't think that hair is ever going to grow back right here by her tail. But other than that, I think she's like 100%. She just doesn't like it when we talk about her booty. Who does, right? 98% pit. Wow, you did the test. See, we did genetic testing on our 2 older dogs, on her and on Mookie. And it was funny because they both have Cocker Spaniel in them. I want to say she's like 30% Cocker Spaniel. And then Mookie was just a little bit Cocker Spaniel. But funny, I say, because then my son and his girlfriend purchased a super expensive full-blood Cocker Spaniel. And they weren't thinking about the fact that these 2 had a little Cocker Spaniel in them. But, that's the one that we're fostering. The one I call Cheesy Poof, because her name is Cheese. And I don't like that name. I think it's ridiculous. I guess it's a popular name for dogs these days. But I call her Cheeto, Cheese Ball. Cheesy Poof is my favorite. Oh, speaking of Cheesy Poof, is there a new South Park today? I'll have to check, because yesterday would have been the day it came out on Comedy Central, but I don't know what the holiday, if it is. They've been killing it. They have just been killing it. Matt Parker and Trey Or is it Trey Parker? I forget. It's Matt and Trey. I know that. Animal Control named him owner before me. Karachan, boyfriend or one of my son's ex-girlfriends named him Dexter. It is the cutest name, especially for somebody who's into true crime, right? I don't know what Karachan means. Like at first I was thinking it said Kardashian, and I don't know if that's a word with meaning. Karachan. It's kind of a cool name to say. But Dexter's the cutest. It's so funny. And let's see. Was I talking about something, Fred? I got distracted. Maybe Coco and her recovery. But I mean, we just feel like we got a second lease on her life. She's about 10 years old, maybe 11. And we've had her since she was about 8 weeks old. She was a rescue from the animal shelter. She was found in downtown Dayton when she was less than 8 weeks old. And it was a really cold winter that year. It already snowed 3 times. And she was found like in a big median by a freeway entrance and taken into the Montgomery County Animal Control. And then they fixed her all up, and then we adopted her. It was love at first sight, me and the kids. It was the first of the shelters that we went to. And I had told the kids, like, don't be falling in love with any of the dogs, because, we're probably going to want to shop around to many shelters before we find the right dog. And my oldest son, I think he was about 10 at the time. Yeah, because he's 21 now. He saw Coco from way across the room, and he just like zoomed in on her, and he was like, she's ours. And I'm like chasing after him, thinking to say, no, don't fall in love with the dog. You remember what I said? But as soon as I got there to her, I was like, oh yeah, this is the one. This is definitely the one. She's so cute. So effing cute. And tiny. And then we've had her ever since. So that's our little love story with Coco. And so I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for her health. I'm grateful for all of our health. Yours too, Fred, and your fearlessness. And, let me just be honest. This might sound insane, but, that's all right. I'm kind of grateful that we can laugh so much at the dumpster fire of our leader. I don't like to admit it, because I wish that we had just like a normal government, normal president and all that, normal cabinet and all that stuff. But I've got to admit, it is very entertaining, and it is very funny. I mean, it's tragic and it's awful, especially if there's people getting hurt and people getting separated from their families to be deployed when it's not necessary, people getting shot at, people in critical condition, people losing their lives. That's not even the slightest bit funny. But trying to look at both sides, that it is grist for the mill, like, all those comedy shows that I depend on to sustain me when I get too overwhelmed with the burden of how horrible this reality can be. All those comedy shows, like the comedy just kind of writes itself. Josh Johnson, Stephen Colbert, Seth, what's his name? It's not Seth Miller. What's his name? Seth Meyer. And then, of course, Jimmy Kimmel. Can't forget Jimmy Kimmel. Or did I already say Jimmy Kimmel? I don't think I did. And then Jimmy Fallon. And so many others. Like Hal Sparks is super funny. Christopher Titus is super funny. One of the shows that I love that I was watching today, because it's his birthday, and he's come into the chat a few times lately, is Boston Brian. He's also super funny. which it helps, man. You got to laugh about this stuff. It's like laugh or cry, right? What? 6 to 8 inches of snow predicted in the Chicago area for Saturday? That's crazy. Yeah, it was so cold here yesterday. It was out of control. That was another thing, was with all that nice weather that we'd been having, I'd been taking these 2-hour hikes every day and, trying to distract myself from the pain in my teeth and just get all the fresh air and sunshine that I can. And then I'd be too tired to do my videos. Or then I would do my videos, but I'd be like all brain dead, like brain made of bubble gum. But yeah, I feel like I should wrap it up too, since it is the holiday and we've just been on for over half an hour. What else to be grateful for? Grateful for food and shelter. Grateful for my family that is just really amazing. And grateful for my friends. Grateful for not having our country having declared war yet. And hopefully that won't happen, but it seems imminent. I mean, dear leader keeps threatening. Tenacious D, Trumpster fire. He keeps threatening Venezuela. And you probably know this, Fred. I think myself and a lot of people like me probably did not know that Venezuela is one of the Earth's richest oil countries. So our country, the Middle East, maybe Russia, and Venezuela. So that makes sense of why they're being targeted. Although this whole thing with Daddy Vladdy and that war in Ukraine, like that needs to just end. Like, could Vladdy and Donnie just be arrested for being the war criminals that they are? Like, that would be a really good early Christmas present for the world that we could be super grateful for, right? You could show a lot of gratitude for that. So I think that's about it. Let's just take care of ourselves, try not to overeat. There was one Thanksgiving when I was about 20 years old where I overate. Oh, because I had my wisdom teeth pulled. And then I wasn't able to eat for like 6 weeks. I was on a liquid diet, and then I was able to eat. And then it was Thanksgiving. And I ate so much that I actually threw up. I'm embarrassed to say it, but like I felt like I was going to explode, and I did. And that was the worst. Like, overeating is bad enough, but overeating to the point of exploding, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Like, isn't it so awesome when you can just like eat a Thanksgiving meal and then call it good and then do some other stuff and then, maybe have leftovers later or your seconds later. But, the seconds are just never as good as the firsts, right? And it's just amazing. Like, this is one reason why I don't go to potlucks, or not potlucks, but I do love potlucks. I don't like to go to buffets, like the all-you-can-eat buffets, because I tend to overdo it. I don't overdo it so much at potlucks, I guess, because those are like social events, so you're spending a lot of time visiting and interacting. And the last potluck I went to was right after I got my braces put on, and it was the first time I was eating around people. That was really hard, trying to eat with braces and talk to people. So I did not eat very much at all. But I got some good visiting in. Always good to visit, right? Me and Dexter here all day, no big dinner. Well, I hope you have some special menu items, like whatever your favorite is. And yeah, thanks again for being here, Mr. Fearless Fred. You're the best. When do you head back to work? You said you were going to take a whole week off, right? So you don't work until like Monday. I'm so glad you got your procedures taken care of. And hey, are you the same age as the dear leader? Or are you a year younger? Tuesday. Oh, good. Good. So you have a few more days to recover. And remember what I said about eating beans and meat with recovering from surgery or any kind of emotional crisis or any type of medical crisis. All those amino acids from meat with beans is like the best healing food. And then if you're vegetarian, of course, people that are vegetarians put rice with their beans to get the amino acids complete. But you could do tofu or something. If you do eggs, you could do high protein and then with beans to give yourself all the extra amino acids. About the same age, 79 in April. Yeah, and he'll be 80 in June. Oh, we had to suffer through his 79th birthday with the squeaky tank. I wonder if he makes it to 80. OMG, he's going to expect fireworks for like a week straight, isn't he? So I wanted to talk some about Erica Kirk, but maybe I'll leave that for the next video so that we can just keep this one short. I just am so horrified the more I learn about her. And let me just say quickly, because I'm sure some people have seen clips of her interviewing with Megyn Kelly, trying to mansplain away the hug with JD Vance, where she held the back of his head as if they were, trigger warning, like climaxing together. I'm sorry, but that's, I think, what everybody thought when they saw her holding the back of his head like that while hugging him. And she's like, oh no, that's just the way I hug people. And they spent minutes and minutes and minutes trying to rationalize and mansplain the hug and how people were just like flipping out for no reason. It's like, well, if it was no reason, I'm sure you wouldn't be wasting your time talking about it then. Like here, you've got this YouTube event, you're on a stage, you have your mics, and you're just going to keep hammering away at how the hug was no big deal. People get over it. She just likes to hug people and hold them by the nape of their neck and yell, oh, baby, right? Off to make a turkey lunch meat sandwich, LOL, maybe with some cranberries. I love the cranberries in the turkey sandwiches. All right, well, I'm going to run off too and rejoin my family. So thanks again. And I like to say turkey lurkey loo every Thanksgiving. That's like an old Adam Sandler joke. But happy Turkey Day to you, Fearless Fred. Have a great turkey sandwich, and hopefully I'll see you very soon. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, and see you on the next one. Happy holiday.